will sustain.
All right, Dr. Sustain. Very excited about the new fucking movie. Well, the end continues or whatever they call it. Well, have you boys? We basically hang out and drink beer. So if you
and I haven't seen you guys in a few weeks, so
we have not streamed for just shy of a month because summer. I mean, stuff happens. People get busy. And we were going to drink beer. And also, the last time we streamed, it was dry January.
July, you mean?
Or dry July.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Dry July, I think. Yeah, because January wouldn't rhyme, would it?
No, it totally doesn't. So I'm assuming that dry January was successful. Or sorry, dry July. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
I'm drinking homebrew today, so. So what are you drinking right now? You said you had beer earlier. Right. What is the state of the beer?
So events have occurred. So one of my favorite breweries in Ontario, which you all understand to be Soda City, was recently bought out by another of my favorite breweries in Ontario, Lake of Bays.
Okay.
Not clear to me how the two cultures are meshing yet, and I have a little bit of concern because I don't think that what I liked about the Soda City way was not the same thing as I like about the Lake of Bays way. The Lake of Bays way is a little bit more like Earl's, if you see what I mean, whereas the Soda City way is a little bit more like maybe not Phillips, because the art is good, but not that good. But they're more of a proper brewery with a tap room rather than a restaurant chain that has a brewery.
Okay.
In any event, this is their latest product. Knowing the woman that does their art, I have to say this is probably her.
Cool.
Violent Dreams?
Yeah, Violent Dreams. Now, what this is a cold IPA. And what does that mean exactly? Well, that's a good question, because it's a stupid term in a sense. If you see what I'm saying, it's either an ale or it's a lager. A lager would be cold and it's about cold or let's call it room temperature fermenting.
Okay.
And so what they've really done is taken an ale and bottom fermented like a lager. In which case it would be like a Kolsch. But the shorthand in the industry, because the same batch that they would otherwise top ferment, they just threw it into the batch and bottom fermented it. And so it's not actually an ale. What it is actually a lager. So a cold IPA isn't an ale. It's a type of lager.
Interesting.
Have either of you ever run into cold IPA?
Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't really realize or really actually care about what the style meant.
Yeah, and to be clear, there's good reasons not to care, because this was done by brewers, because it's the same recipe as an IPA, but they did it cold fermented instead of warm fermented.
Yeah.
So in a sense, the recipe isn't different. So calling it that doesn't. It's not obvious that that's wrong. That's actually just how they probably talk about it in industry as brewers. So I don't want to get in the way of that. But at the same time, if you look at the larger history of brewing culture, what we're really talking about here is a bunch of fucking nonsense, because it's not an ale at all. It's not a cold IPA. What it is and the fact that they start it with cold, it's like they were reaching for the word Kolsch, but never quite managed to get there.
Right.
But what it is a highly hopped Kolsch.
Right. Okay, so how does it taste? Like, what do you think?
It's fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. But one of the things that I respected about Sawdust City, from ways back, in terms of them as, a brewery that cares about what they're doing, is that they had a few products that were, they're sort of front line, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was a West Coast IPA. This is from Ontario. A West Coast IPA called Lone Pine, and it had that piney flavor that you get from West Coast IPAs. Their current batch was hazy. So I'm concerned about that. And they didn't. They I'm told from a local that they went through a period where they completely ran out of Little Norway, which was their go-to Pilsner, which is, again, one of their signature products.
Right.
And so I guess I'm skeptical about this relationship with Lake of Bays and whether the two cultures can maintain sufficient integrity to keep what was good.
I just looked up the Sawdust City Little Norway thing and whatnot. But it is, this is the problem I've actually noticed with a bunch of the breweries in town here, where a lot of the popular beers, at least popular to me, I mean, things that I think they must sell a lot of because they're tasty, seem to be, they seem to be killing their darlings quite quickly. Like you get a decent beer for, maybe a year and then it's gone. Now, of course, I liked it. Maybe that means that not a lot of people liked it, not enough people liked it. So then they kill it off and they replace it with something new. But I have noticed in the past few years that it's happening more regularly for beers that I would think would be a long-term staple for a brewery. However, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe killing their darlings after a while is not a terrible thing, because, I mean, brewmasters want to get inventive. They want to maybe have this year I want to make some basic ones, Next year we'll get crazy with the whatevers. But they always seem to find a balance of having their staple brews where they have, generally lager, pilsner, IPA, sour, light beer of some kind, and then they just do that. But I don't know. Have you noticed that at all? I mean, I'm kind of sad because there's a bunch that are going away at Red Truck, for example.
So in this particular instance, it's not like that lack of attention to Little Norway resulted in a whole lot of creative brews that nobody had heard of yet. What it resulted in was them using excess capacity to pump out more Lake of Bays beers. Because now Lake of Bays is using them as excess capacity as well, right?
Well, I mean, that's part of the other thing too, is that you can only make so many beers at a regular time or at a regular basis at a long-term thing, because you do have limited space. Like you're going to have
exactly, and to be fair, just because it's their signature product doesn't mean it's necessarily their best seller.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of curious what happened to, is that Calgary brewery that had a place here in Vancouver for a while? I can't even think of what it's called now.
Big Rock.
Big Rock. Yes,
Big
yes.
Rock, yeah.
But Big Rock, as far as I know in town, that building with all of that brewing equipment, last I checked, is still closed. As far as I know, it's not been changed to anything. It's been a lease. I would imagine a difficult lease to offload because it is a specialty building, or not specialty, but at least it was converted to be so. But I walked by there, I don't know, a week or so ago, and glanced at it, but it didn't look like there was much going on. I think they've rented it out from time to time, at least the front area. But
yeah, I think it's probably got a lot of currency still as event space.
So I don't know. I just think those tanks are lonely and probably need some love. They need to brew something.
Oh my god, fucking A, yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Julian is here.
Hey,
Ooh.
Julian.
Julian in the house.
So yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna look up to see if there's any activity on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Right. So Julian will appreciate that I just educated the world about cold IPAs and the fact that they're not really an ale at all or a type of lager. But Alan, what's going on in Victoria nowadays?
It's hot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really stinking hot. And actually, it was kind of cooling off a little bit, but now today it's just hot, and I've been looking forward to having a cold beer. Speaking of which, I'm having. So when Shane and I went to the Vancouver Beer Week thing about a month ago, we discovered a brewery there called Changing Colors, and we really liked what they had. And then here in Victoria, I found that they did a collaboration with Small Gods Brewing in Sydney, BC. So I picked it up. So it's what's it called here? Get in the Van. It's a double hazy IPA. Comes in at 8%.
All right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is what it looks like. It's definitely hazy.
Mm-hmm.
Beam out.
The presentation is hazy as well.
Yeah. Smells so good.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor is on point. This kind of reminds me again, because I said this about the Changing Colors brew that we had in Vancouver. This kind of reminds me of something along the lines of what you'd get from Superflex, which is saying something because Superflex is damn good.
Yeah. Very much.
Yeah, this is really good. And dangerously quaffable for 8%. Even with the bitterness is not overpowering in the least. Yeah, I could chug this quite easily. And yeah, really good. I'm enjoying this. Shane.
Okay. Well, that is positive.
It's really positive. This I may run out and get another one of these.
I just dug
and say its name again to make sure we all understand what it is.
Okay, so it's called, the beer itself is called Get in the Van Double Hazy IPA. It is a collaboration brew between Changing Colors in Vancouver and Small Gods Brewing in Sydney, BC.
Sydney. Shane?
I just did some digging into Big Rock Brewery, by the way. I didn't know this. So apparently they were still brewing beer at that location until last summer. So 2024. But they closed it because as of September, basically Big Rock has been in, on average, it looks like every year they're averaging about $12 to $15 million in debt, and it was growing. Wow. So last fall, so last fall they officially stopped brewing in Vancouver and also closed their warehouse in Edmonton, and they are now about 49% owned by something called VN Cap, basically bought shares and are now, just 50% owners to get them out of debt. So that actually explains a lot. Like, they lost a bunch of money over the pandemic, like everyone did. But
That's a lot of money.
Well, every year, yeah, they were. They apparently had liens on them, and they also this settlement with VN Capital is basically a shareholder is saving the company. Otherwise, they might have been in significant trouble. So it was a debt agreement last fall, where woof. Under the terms of the deal, their debt would be converted into 9 million common shares, with the so that basically, so they bailed them out. So I did not realize. I thought Big Rock was, kind of a big player, but I guess they have, like anyone.
Well, until they weren't, yeah.
So they, I guess, were not doing well, and they just got bailed out last year. So that explains the whole situation. And I had no idea they were still brewing here, but they were just. It wasn't an open space for anyone to go to. So
that's wild. I mean, fucking hell. If the product was not clear to me, how much of beer, in terms of what you pay, do we have an obvious breakdown? Can we collect an obvious breakdown of what you pay for a beer in terms of how much of it is tax, how much of it is product, and how much of it is marketing?
That's a very good question.
Can you just ask that to a GPT or something? Or
funny you should ask. I'm just pulling it up here so we can ask that exact question. All right. This, of course, is not going to be accurate, but we're going to give it our best try. So, according to ChatGPT, all right. So, hey, I need you to become the best beer nerd statistic. No, I'll just say beer nerd in Canada. I would like to know if there is a rough breakdown you can tell us about beer in Canada. What did we specifically want to ask? Sorry?
Like the cost. Like how
what
much
is the
tax?
Cost?
What's the average breakdown of marketing versus product versus tax, like regulatory?
All right, let's just ask it that. Searching the web. Not any of my websites, because I block those damn bots. Taxes in beer in Canada. Industry groups like Beer Canada. There's an industry group called Beer Canada. Often claim that 50% of retail price of beer is made up of taxes, arguably the highest tax burden in the G7. I'm moving to the UK. That's basically how it is. Now, of course, I don't know how accurate this stuff is, but a beer-reviewed Canadian study of public health represents 20 to 30% of the final retail price, considerably lower than industry claims. Report averages, tax load hovers on further. That's what we're going to do here. Read away. I'll move along here and see what other marketing spend by breweries. All right, so let's open up this here. All right, boys and girls, welcome to the world of Notebook LM. I would like you to discover some sources, please. I would like to find out as much information as possible regarding the brewing and selling of beer in Canada. Let's see what it finds.
That's a lot of information. As much information as possible.
But you know,
Right.
it's interesting that we're discussing this right now because there's a thing going on in BC where the craft breweries are banding together to have reforms made in BC because they say that the BC tax system favors foreign conglomerates and punishes BC craft brewers. So I don't think it's a level playing field for.
So do the trade rules restricting interprovincial alcohol sales. But you know, like, did that ever get dealt with, by the way? I know Carney was talking about it, but did he do anything?
I think it's still being worked on.
Yeah, right.
All right, we found a bunch of different little odds and ends. Let's generate a briefing doc here. So hopefully we can see what are the things we could do here. But I mean, the entire brewing industry, I mean, it is totally unfair, I think, to smaller brewers. It's going to hide this while it's doing its thing. Best viewers on Streamboo. Remove the space. How about Eat My Shorts? All right, so here you go, Locke, just for you. Here is the briefing document that was just generated here.
Okay.
So detailed briefing document of the beer industry, challenges, trends, and regulations. So I just thought you should see that here. So what we can do as well, let's create a podcast for this. So we're going to get an audio overview of a couple of different virtual.
Yeah. So which one are you using right now?
Notebook LM, which is a Google product.
Yeah. Okay, I've seen that feature done in Perplexity, I think.
Yeah, there's a great video on YouTube that was the thing that actually brought me to taking the time to actually check out Notebook LM, and basically it is a podcast with two hosts that are talking about poo-poo pee-pee, because the only source in Notebook LM that they gave the computer was just a document that just said poo-poo pee-pee all the way through. And so it created this like 10-minute discussion about, let me tell you, I mean, very much in kind of the vein of like NPR or something. But it was like, oh, have you heard the doc? Oh my God, there's so much information about poo-poo pee-pee. It's the best thing ever. It's hilarious. But I find it a little more reliable than other sources. I mean, I'm just discovering online sources, but yeah, you know, this is really stupid. The thing that's happening on Julie One Planet, eat a bag of dicks. But the one thing I find very interesting is that there are now people out there creating fake documentation and you know, just to piss off people that are using services like ChatGPT or Complexity or anything to do searches on the net. So it's like, I want to find as much information as I can about Alan Ford. You'll find like, you know, documents out there that may or may not exist called like, you know, his junk is massive. You know, he's grown 8 feet in the last 3 years.
It's true.
Know. So yeah, I kind of like being able to control the sources a little more. But which Notebook? I mean, I'm certainly sure there's other platforms that do very similar things. But
hey Shane, I put a link in the private chat.
In the back channel?
Not the back channel, in the private chat on our little streaming platform.
Yes, here we go. Craft beer brewers pitch tax reforms to help all.
This is what I was talking about before.
Let's grab that one. That's not what I wanted. I want that. There we go. So and I've not read this, but you have. So tell me.
I have not read this particular piece, but essentially, what craft brewers in BC are saying is that there isn't a level playing field between what the government does for foreign conglomerates, like say, InBev and that kind of organization, and small craft brewers. Small craft brewers.
Large companies produce or above a certain volume, pay a flat rate, where small craft brewers get penalized for success. Interesting. I wonder if.
I wonder if that could be applicable to a broader extent of the economy.
I would think so. I mean, it's just one industry.
To the extent that we're trying to emancipate ourselves from dependence on our southern neighbors, surely a more vibrant entrepreneurial economy would be helpful.
I would think so. I would think so. Now, the thing is that these brewers, like these large conglomerate breweries, brew their stuff here using Canadian employees.
Of course they do.
Right? I mean, that is a consideration, right?
Yeah, so it does serve our economy. Yeah, I mean, but us working for them rather than them working for us. Yeah. That's why I liked American Apparel. I mean, the brand name being what it is, interesting that it was a Canadian company where we were essentially using the suckers in LA who were trying to get film industry jobs who didn't make it and ended up in wage slavery.
Right. Yeah.
We don't end up as American wage slaves. I guess is sort of my point here. We would rather be running this.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, ultimately, we must follow the wisdom of Biff Tannen about this whole situation, which is, of course, butt heads. Buttheads. I got this in the mail the other day.
A photograph of Biff Tannen on your desk.
I received this postcard in the mail the other day from a friend of the show, Sean, who thought I needed some wisdom from Biff Tannen.
You could actually get his cane with the fist on top.
Oh, really?
I've seen it.
Hello. Think, McFly, think. If I turn it in with your handwriting, I'll get kicked out of school. No. Drinking alcohol is a sin, and we're all sinners. We must pay for our sins, especially you, and especially not those who do not brew beer. I want to say that I have 3 buckets of beer brewing as we speak. So therefore, I cannot be included in such a statement. So take that, Julian. I'm hanging on every word that Julian, the words that the pearls of wisdom.
I just leave shit in my fridge long enough that it ferments.
I still have all my brewing equipment. I'll brew again one of these days when I have time.
I had somebody actually dropped a bunch of buckets that have spigots on them, so I scooped them.
Yeah,
they left them in the hallway for anyone to grab, so I went and scooped them up just because I thought I've got a bunch of buckets. But one of the reasons that I don't brew as often as I should is that I don't have spigots on the thing, so bottling is a pain in the ass otherwise. But,
Yeah. Well,
but
I
these
have to
ones, I'm
say,
happy
when
with.
I used to brew, and I had in the place that I lived before where I live now, I had better facilities for brewing, for home brewing. I
Right.
don't have those same facilities here, and I need to figure something out. I think it would be too much of a hassle to brew here.
Right. It would be. I mean, I just do it in my living room, so what can I say?
Well, see, here's the thing. Like in the place I lived before, I had one of those. I don't know what you want to call it, like a laundry basin that was in the basement.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a sink kind of thing, but it was like a laundry sink, and I would just put my word finding. It's hard when you are over 50.
Your fermenting bottles.
Yeah, well, the big thing that you put.
Penis?
No, the thing that you put the wort into for your primary
fermenter?
ferment. Whatever.
But
Big jug thing. Anyway, I put it in there, and anything that spilled over would just go down the drain in this laundry basin. I don't have a laundry basin now, so I don't know what I'd do with it, and I would end up with all this, I guess, like spillover and krausen everywhere. I don't know what I'd do with it.
It would just make your
Stink.
life horrible, and you just
It'd stink.
give up living.
Yeah.
yeah.
What are those? Okay, now this is gonna kill me. What are those big, like 5-liter jugs called? Not 5-liter, 5-gallon.
Yes,
Big
5
plastic things, and you put the the airlock
Water
on
jug?
top.
I usually think of them as water jugs.
It's like it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it. I hate when that happens.
Look,
I want to call it a
look,
carbiner, but it's not a carbiner.
Oh, a buck. Okay, bucket.
I'm gonna look it up because now it's bugging me. 5-gallon. Oh my god, I can't type.
Typing is hard. It's so difficult. It's just one of those things that we'll just never have to. Something. Words are hard.
right. We're talking about Carboy or something like that.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah. Okay.
Carboy. Thank you, Locke.
Yeah. Worked in restaurants.
Why is it so hard to think of words?
Well, I don't know. Look, how many restaurants have you worked in, Alan? Really?
None. I've never worked in a restaurant.
There you go.
Actually, that's not true. I don't know if this qualifies as a restaurant, but I worked at a Marvelous Muffins, which was a mall muffin shop thing, and I worked in there for 2 weeks.
Okay. A mall muffin shop. And did you eat any of the muffins?
No.
Okay. Good to know.
Because I made the muffins, and I knew I was unqualified to make the muffins. I'm not eating that.
I just don't need these damn muffins.
Okay.
Customers are like, why is there finger holes in these muffins?
Because
our muffin
I was
maker
poking your
testing them to
muffin.
Make sure that they were...
That's so horrible.
Yeah, that was not a good thing.
Look, I've never worked for a place where my own practices were bad, but I do recall there being sort of a slight qualm in my mind when I learned that part of the duties of the dishwasher at the restaurant that I was working at were hand lifting the lasagna pieces into the pan to go up to the kitchen.
Elaborate, sorry.
Hand lifting.
That was it.
You're in the middle of you're washing dishes with all the stuff that happens there, and then you're hand lifting the lasagna piece that's going up to the kitchen.
So basically, you were stuffing as much as you can into.
Did I ever eat lasagna there? No. Would I? Probably not.
Of course not.
Didn't make me suspicious of lasagna generally. I'll be honest, yes.
I kind of lucked out when I was a kid. Like aside from the muffin thing, which only lasted 2 weeks. I quit, by the way. I didn't get fired. I quit before they could fire me because I had a feeling that they were going to.
That's a good tactic. It's always good to do that. Yeah, lead the parade.
But anyway, it wasn't a good situation for me. And that was my only job in the food service industry ever.
Right.
And then maybe about a year later, I was kind of young for that job. About a year later, I got a job working at a local newspaper publication.
Oh, right.
Doing cold calling for classified advertising. So what I would do is I'd call people who would advertise in a competing newspaper, to sell their car or whatever, and say, look, you could advertise in our paper for way cheaper and it would run for longer. So, I did that for a little while, but I kind of moved into doing like the actual production work in the paper where I would do the typesetting and the cutting and the pasting and building the ad space and working on the tabloid stock. And the way the paper was printed based on what I had done. And I don't want to take credit for being the only person that did. I was, just like one small part of that. But it was amazing. It was so creative, and it was such a great job. I had so much fun doing it. It paid minimum wage, but I didn't care. I would have done it for free.
Okay. All right. Actually, that sounds sort of awesome.
It was really, and it was before. I mean, we used computers then, but we couldn't do the whole ad, like or the whole display on a computer. You could do components of it on the computer, and then you'd print it out, and you'd actually physically cut and paste it with like an X-Acto knife, and we'd run everything through a waxer. And actually, we had tabloid stock that we put down, and position this stuff on the tabloid stock, and then the tabloid stock went to the printers. It was amazing. Yeah.
I wonder if Alan laid this out.
No, I did not.
I'm actually looking to see if you can find online digitized versions of
I don't think you can, but if you can, I'd be highly interested.
By the way, I also found this. The guy, I guess, who founded the Penny Saver, died in 2016.
Huh. I've never heard of him.
And apparently, he was the dude that did. He was the big cheese.
Well, Penny Saver was like a huge sort of like international thing. Right, like there was penny savers in the United States, in Canada, everywhere. So it wasn't just like some small local thing. It was a very big network.
Like it was like a Canada, US kind of thing, or
like there was penny savers in California and BC and different markets. I don't know exactly.
I imagine that would make sense. I've never heard of it before. Or at least to the degree that I remember it, it was only a BC thing where I ever heard about it.
So according to
when was it established?
79 apparently. Apparently, according to the BC archives, the Victoria Penny Saver has microfiche copies of only one or two releases of the Penny Saver.
You know, I actually have some copies of the Penny Saver around.
Oh, really? Well,
I don't know where they are. I'd have to go find them.
But yeah, I mean, it was a. I mean, I remember back in the day when we had I had a paper route doing the. I don't know if it was the Penny Saver, but I was probably about 11. It's too late, Alan. Don't worry.
Back in the days of Woolworths and Woodwards and all of those.
Yeah, back then, you know, I shared a paper route with somebody I went to school with, and we used to like have to do the whole thing where you took all like the you took the paper part, you'd have to put all the stuff, all the ad,
flyers and stuff,
flyers or whatever, and then we delivered them up not Glanford. What was the route? It was Man Avenue and all the co-ops down in that sort of general vicinity, you know, right near my parents' place.
That was probably a Penny Saver because I had the same thing. Like I had a Penny Saver route when I was like a younger kid, and the same thing. You had to collate all the flyers, and occasionally you had like Sears catalogs you had to deliver,
and also we also had to deliver every once in a while. It was like a color magazine of some kind. Which I can't think of the title of it, but yeah, there was like a magazine you'd have to throw in once in a while. And I'll never forget. Actually, it was the first time I ever because I had that for I don't know, maybe a year, maybe two. But there was also the kid on the next road over who also had the paper route for like Northridge and up and down Van Almen or whatever, and he dumped them in the creek all the time.
That was pretty common, actually.
Here's something to reflect on a little. Sears catalogs used to be a little bit racy because they had a lingerie section.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wow.
Imagine that today, where we are, like the rampantness of online porn and all of that. Yeah, there was we when we were children could get a vicarious thrill by reading the Sears catalog,
or by watching Scramble.
What is that in terms of narrative of what has happened in our lifetimes?
Sorry, watching what? Scrambled porn
channels on TV, like the Playboy channel on TV.
Oh,
it was like it was there, but the screen
dude, that was
screwed up.
Cool, like a lot of acid.
But you could hear it,
and every so often, like a boob.
Look!
Oh, Lord.
Psychedelic hardcore porn. It's just like. On real psychedelics, yeah, that's what I grew up with.
Totally.
Oh
my god.
Oh, those were the days.
Look who we are now, and it's sort of like as fucked as that experience was. Is this less fucked? No, not less.
No. Way more.
Not less.
Or do you remember, like, I don't know if this was just a Canadian thing, but sometimes, like, late at night, some Canadian channels would have, like, soft porn on.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh,
Yes.
like the romance, whatever the hell.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
flowing hair guys.
They never showed anything, like,
Yeah.
but I mean, you know,
And
they,
Wow, wow.
There were filming.
Sorry, you're saying
What happened?
I was. Never mind.
Did your AI speak? Anyway, there was a time when film producers, if they were trying to work their way into the game, we get into that stuff and do some softcore porn because it was like a midpoint in reality where that was a thing that. How do you explain softcore porn to people nowadays? Like, you know what I mean? It's sort of like, be like, sorry, what happened?
it seems like a little bit of an oxymoron, doesn't it?
Right. Well, yeah. But
Does.
it's a time where you were trying to balance between these lines of what was acceptably moral before, before. Anyway, and so you would be trying to, but there were filmmakers that were like, yeah, I'm a surrealist. Yeah, I want money. Yeah, I'll do that. And so they would do pretty fucking weird shit. And some of that's actually really interesting, just in and of its own right, outside of the bizarre historical context of the period where soft porn was a thing.
I'm sorry, I just suddenly wasted a bit of time looking for royalty-free porn. And I found some.
Oh Lord!
There's a new feature on the streaming app that we can actually upload and play background music. As I thought it would be funny, but anyway, moving along.
Bomb chicken wow wow.
Oh god.
Well, yeah, the Ben Moa pedals.
Wow. Whatever happened to that pedal? Is that pedal still around?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think it's.
Actually, question: is porn made anymore in a commercial sense? Like in terms of somebody writes a script, they shoot it. Like, is that kind of a thing?
So.
I think what I find troubling is that culture has generally shifted into an American vortex whereby everything is springerish and everything is kind of porn.
Elaborate.
Like, is there anything that isn't potentially a Springer moment nowadays? Like order buying something at a counter. Could you have a Springer moment where people are like, that doesn't agree with my body, so I'm going to throw a tantrum and I'm going to throw chips everywhere. Fuck you. Right? Is there a moment where that couldn't happen anymore? No, not really. That's like potential has permeated everything. It's everywhere. It's like the bases are loaded for it. So Springerishness is like fucking crazy. And then you've got your, I need to micromanage your manner of communication because it offends my, disabled ghost personality that doesn't really exist, but which I need to honor because of the importance of self-realization in terms of psychologically externalizing my, you know what I mean? Like it's, we're there, and it's troubling, and it's it's pervasive, and it's. Do you not find yourselves running against that occasionally and going to yourself, fist? head.
No.
What? Fist. I heard fist head. Like what? What are we?
Like,
I
hit
lost the plot somewhere in there.
Hit it, make it stop, make it fucking stop. Whatever it is, brutal. My gut response to the way, not just
The response to
if we were watching this last weekend, They Live. What's the appropriate response to I want to micromanage some aspect of your life, like can you put a swing that your kid is climbing on in a tree that's on public property?
Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Jealous as well.
Sorry, how do we get to porn and what you're talking about?
Because public outrage, porn are the same thing. It's what we're talking about is the saleability of something that's just slightly out of what's apparently permissible for everybody to. What do we say? Do in public.
Shut up. Right. Okay. So, from the first few phrases there, public outrage and porn are very much born of the same thing. I'm picturing that, of course, people in the streets going, "Oh, we're so pissed off! Quick, everybody, fuck!" You know, like.
Well, and if that were the reaction, it would be fine. Except that the reaction, it appears from statistics, is that right. So, without getting into too much of like, have either of you had a moment where you've noticed that millennials and younger seem really unhappy?
I mean, no more so than any other generation.
Maybe not, but here's the thing. Look, the extent to which they've externalized that has been very limited and very troubling, I would suggest. Which is to say that either they're so totally fucking dishonest that they're Elizabeth Holmes, or they're so totally fucking honest and crass that they're that Skrillex, whatever the fuck his name was, guy. The pill guy.
Pill guy.
Okay. Yeah. I know who the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
Who's the pill guy?
Yeah, what was that guy called? I don't remember. He's in jail, isn't he?
Be worth to know his fucking name, but I guess maybe not.
I guess.
But the point being, like, relationship with reality is sort of like it's a thing negotiable, but we don't want to talk about it, and as much as possible, we want to just sort of walk away and not
think
deal with it. Like, have you noticed that sort of tendency of just wanting to say whatever is polite and then walk away?
I think a lot of what you're talking about has to do with social media, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is, frankly, killing educated thought is it's creating echo chambers. So what you do is you subscribe to whatever social media channel, but then you only see the things that align with your particular way of thinking. And then the other ways of thinking, you don't even consider those. Those are the enemy. It puts divisions between people. So we end up in the situation that we're in now as a society. It's more so in the States right now than anywhere else. But I mean, the rest of us can't be that far behind. I think there needs to be some serious changes, and people need to look inwardly on their social media use in order to make things better.
Well, okay, but now, so here's something that's sort of odd. I agree with everything you just said there, by the way, but so of the facilities that allowed for civil behavior, parliamentary process, that is to say, talking shops, were the most significant and most useful advance of the last really 500 years. Getting people talking has been so valuable in terms of people being able to. Is the problem partly right now that the talking that's going on is going on through mediators that are filtering things for the most emotional content because getting more hits is more valuable?
Yes, partly. But I also think it has to do with the education of the people. And I don't mean this derisively. But way back when, the parliamentary process was I don't want to say it was an elite thing, because it wasn't. Anybody could get involved. But you had to sort of like know your stuff in order to get involved.
Sure.
So
yeah.
There was this professionalism about it.
Yep.
Now, social media was actually brought in to be sort of like provide a level playing field. So anybody could have a voice, which sounds great. But a lot of people don't have the knowledge required or the education required in order to use that effectively. So what we wind up with is everybody meeting the lowest common denominator. Instead of raising everybody else, we're just lowering the highest people down below. And Donald Trump is a big example of this, because he's basically a TV star. I mean, he's been since the 80s. Like, he wrote that book in the 80s, and he was obscure before that. It wasn't until he became a celebrity by writing a book and getting involved in TV shows and everything.
How much did Spy Magazine?
What?
Spy Magazine, they used to crucify him as the Donald. They used to make fun of him on the regular.
Yeah.
But ultimately, by making fun of him, they also enhanced his profile such that he became more famous.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think I'm not going to say that he's an idiot or anything, because a lot of people do say that. I think he's actually really smart. But he's smart in a way that he uses it for his own personal gain and screw everybody else.
Sure. Yeah. I think all of that's true. And I'll even go further. Of the overall effects of Donald Trump's rise recently, I gotta say, there's a whole lot I'm on board with. United Canada in a way I haven't seen in a while. It's even noticed to Europe that they need to smarten up in terms of how their relationship with Russia is going to work. There's a good deal there that I frankly don't disagree with. Doesn't mean I'm on board with siding with the guy. But in terms of the effects of his, and I think we need to recognize that this isn't about him. This is about what the general.
This is the kind of thing that social media has allowed him to
this
get
is the
to
period
this
of
point.
We live in. Yeah.
Social media has
Right.
evolved all of us.
This is the period of history that we're living in. And so in terms of the reference you were making earlier, Alan, we are living in the period where Marty and fucking Doc haven't sorted out yet.
Yeah. I don't know what the fix is. It's not reasonable, but I think what we need to do is shut down social media.
But okay, so
I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's possible. I mean, Pandora's out of the box.
I think it's going to shut down on its own. I don't think we need to shut it down. I think eventually, well, here's the thing.
People will eventually realize what it is. Is that what you're saying?
No, here's the problem. Because 20 years ago, not quite 20 years ago, 19 years ago, when Facebook and Twitter and all these companies started to sort of build the first sort of iteration of Web 2.0 was a big deal. People, you were allowed to, you could now publish things on your own, whether it's on a website or whether it was on a thing. But the reality is that the general change has happened or is in the process of happening. And these companies like Facebook are under the weight of shareholders to a point that's never been seen for a social media company. So you have Facebook, you have Google's not really social media. They had some social media stuff, but not so much anymore. But the sort of thing applies, right, to like YouTube and whatnot, where you have these algorithms that are doing certain things and trying to cater to certain things in order to get ads in front of people. But Facebook, I'm not going to pick on Facebook. I'm just going to say social media in a general thing, because all the platforms do the same thing, is that they want to put ads in front of your eyeballs so that in theory you might follow them and buy something, I guess.
It's about social engineering.
Exactly. And so it's no longer about sharing with your friends. It's now just about sharing something and then not having a lot of people see that thing, because instead of like me seeing posts from people I know, I will see the bulk of the time I'll see posts from people I don't know, including ads and things like that may or may not be my interest or whatever. But I think over time, I think we're eventually going to see a reckoning in a way that it doesn't come from the user base, that it comes from the advertising base. Because I think as people leave these platforms or ignore them, which is probably more to the point, we're eventually going to see either an evolution of some kind, which I'm not sure what that would look like. But there will be something very, very different than we have now, because the younger generations who grew up as essentially digital natives, or they had an iPad in their hands at 12 weeks or whatever, are the ones who are not really signing up for them. They're not wanting to play that sandbox, especially when you've had exposure to like a significant amount of exposure to things like TikTok that really are probably the masters at all of this dopamine hit algorithmic addiction. And so one hopes that they eventually get out of it and detoxify or go through rehab, essentially. Because, I mean, you're always going to have a segment of the population that's addicted to it, and they'll keep going. But I think a lot of people will eventually get other interests. They will either hopefully discover the big blue room outside, stuff like that. So, and especially with our generations, we got burned out on it so much that we don't generally participate in social media platforms that much anymore. I mean, I haven't posted to, say, Twitter for at least a year or more.
I was an early adopter and also an early abandoner.
Actually, that is actually the phrase that I've heard, is early abandonment, where these platforms have become so reliant, as I was saying, about, you know, making the shareholders happy, which all large corporations eventually run into, that they'll either just keep getting bigger and do that sort of thing. But I think one of the indicators is the whole metaverse thing at Facebook, where they spent billions of dollars building this metaverse thing that ultimately flopped because it was not what people wanted, even though they thought that's where, you know, things are going with VR and that kind of stuff. You know, they'll probably service a very small market, but at the same time, I don't think that there will be. I don't see what the next thing is, because to me, VR is kind of the end goal for a lot of these platforms. Want you to be engaged all the time, quite literally. But I'm sure that
the next thing is the Oasis.
Exactly. Well, hey, I've always said that if holodeck technology becomes a thing, our entire species is doomed, because there will be an entire generation of people that live entirely within holodecks. The power is going to run out. Something will happen. All the holodecks will shut off, and everyone will starve to death because, like, what is this? You know, that kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, I know that Zuckerberg is trying to create. What did he say he was doing? The metaverse is going to be scaled back, and they were going to start hiring or using third-party platforms for AI integration into Facebook or whatever. So it's like that they've kind of given up. And actually, you know, come to think of it, I mean, that's the other problem. Is I'm very much a believer in the dead forest strategy, that eventually the internet will become nothing but AI bots posting content and talking to each other, and humans will have left, because I think we're seeing that already, where people are giving up on using the internet in a lot of ways because AI generation has reached such a scale that the questionable quality.
To be honest, every single time I see something online, I just assume it's AI.
Yeah.
And I assume it's not real.
It is getting to that point. But that's the thing, is that it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And I think that.
And yes, Julian is right.
Who's right?
Julian.
What the fuck did Julian say?
Yes, we are.
Right.
We are right now.
Yeah,
I understand the irony.
Which 10 years ago was a great idea. But now, I don't know. It's not necessarily. If I had a crystal ball, I would invest in building outdoor parks or something to that effect, entertainment venues and that sort of thing. What, are you having a stroke? What's going on? Oh, you're petting the dog. I just suddenly see Alan's head going. Oh, he's dying now. Right here on camera. The Crafty boys start to feel over.
You want to come out?
Where is he?
Oh,
where's the baby? Hello, baby. How's the fur baby?
Yo, you have no idea what you're listening to,
And-
but we all love you. Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Well, on that note, the show has gone to the dogs. They've been online for a while. It is time for bed because Locke is tired.
Yeah, it's fucking late here.
And we'll see you all next time. It is probably not next weekend, maybe the weekend after, but we will see you then. Thank you all for watching. And keep supporting the show, subscribe, and all that junk. And as always, drink good beer and get naked. All right, bye.
Bye.
See you, everybody. Wait a second. Hang on. I got to do the outro. There we go.
Yeah.